Under the glare of the arena lights, when the bell rang and the crowd roared, there was only one truth that lived in the eyes of Mike Tyson's opponents: fear. It was not the ordinary kind of fear that boxers feel when walking into battle. It was primal, the kind of fear that came when a man realized he was sharing the ring with a predator who did not recognize limits. Tyson was not just a fighter, he was a storm. A force of nature wrapped in muscle and fury, and he thrived on destroying men who thought size or arrogance could shield them from the inevitable. The 1980s became Tyson's hunting ground, a battlefield where self-proclaimed giants stepped forward one by one, convinced their reach, height, or swagger would dethrone the young king. They came in waves, towering men, champions with impressive records, veterans who had never been knocked down. Yet every one of them eventually discovered the same truth: there is no armor thick enough, no frame tall enough, and no strategy clever enough to survive Iron Mike when his rage was unleashed. Tony Tucker was the first of these colossi, who truly believed size alone could neutralize Tyson, known as TNT. Tucker wasn't just tall, he was a skyscraper compared to the compact frame of Tyson, standing 2 heads above his opponent with an undefeated record of 34-0. Tucker believed the night would end with his hands raised. He had already destroyed fighters who would later haunt Tyson's legacy, including Buster Douglas, the man who eventually shocked the world. Tucker wasn't afraid of Tyson's reputation, and as the opening bell rang, he even dared to mock the young champion, dropping his guard and clowning around as if Mike was nothing more than a child trying to spar with his father. But arrogance is a dangerous fuel. Every time Tucker smirked, every time he played to the crowd, Tyson's fists answered. What Tucker saw as a game was nothing less than a provocation to a lion, and lions do not play. Tyson's hooks began breaking through, punishing ribs and shaking Tucker's jaw. Still, Tucker held his ground, his height buying him precious seconds to stay alive. For round after round, he tried to frustrate Tyson, to lean on him, to smother him. Yet Tyson was relentless, a short, furious machine pressing forward, swinging with dynamite in both hands. By the end of 12 rounds, Tucker's confidence had evaporated, his body sagging under the relentless pressure. Tyson's hand was raised, and though the giant survived the distance, he walked away humbled. The lesson was simple: you don't taunt a lion unless you're ready to bleed. Not long after, another giant came forward. Michael Spinks was not just a fighter, he was a legend in his own right. The former undisputed light heavyweight champion, undefeated, respected, and feared in his division. His move up to heavyweight was supposed to be the ultimate test for Tyson, the clash of titans that would crown the true king of boxing. Even Muhammad Ali himself showed up to watch. The hype was electric. Spinks entered the ring as if he were ready for war, but Tyson had no interest in a drawn-out battle. The opening bell rang, and Iron Mike erupted like a thunderclap. He tore across the canvas, cutting off the ring before Spinks could even set his jab. The first right hand Tyson landed shook Spinks to his core. Within 90 seconds, the giant was gone, crumpled on the canvas, staring up at the lights in disbelief. The fight had lasted less than 1 round, and with that single destruction, Tyson proved what most already suspected: his dominance wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Spinks quit boxing entirely after that night, his aura shattered forever. Tyson had not only beaten him, he had erased him. The next so-called colossus was Mike Jameson, another towering figure who believed his size alone would reduce Tyson to a helpless bulldog. Jameson was brash, his confidence almost laughable to those who had already witnessed Tyson's fury. But arrogance blinds men, and Jameson truly believed he could withstand the storm. The opening bell once again told a different story. Tyson's fists became wrecking balls, digging into Jameson's body, snapping his head back with hooks and breaking his will punch by punch. Jameson tried to fight back, landing a few counters here and there, but his shots bounced off Tyson as if they were mosquito bites against steel. In the 4th round, the inevitable came. A vicious left-right combination sent Jameson sprawling to the canvas. His height no longer a weapon, but a liability, as his long frame collapsed in defeat. Then came Terrell, a man who could have been an NBA star, but instead chose boxing, chasing glory inside the ropes. Biggs was bold enough to declare publicly "I'll beat Tyson like I'm his dad." It was a statement that reeked of arrogance, a declaration that insulted not only Tyson's skills, but his pride. When the bell rang, Biggs actually managed to surprise the audience. His jab was sharp, his reach kept Tyson at bay, and for a brief moment, it looked as if his prediction might hold weight. Tyson struggled to close the distance, and Biggs, feeling confident, dropped his guard to humiliate the young champion. But arrogance always has a price. By the fifth round, Tyson had adjusted. He slipped past the jab, cornered Biggs, and unleashed hell. A brutal left hook staggered the taller man, followed by a storm of combinations that left Biggs defenseless. Tyson tore him apart, ripping body shots, then finishing with a hook that sent him crashing to the canvas. The fight was stopped, and Biggs's arrogance was buried under the weight of his own words. Tyson had not only beaten him, he had punished him for his disrespect. If Biggs's arrogance was verbal, Mitch Green's was pure theater. Known as a gangster outside the ring and a loudmouth inside it, Green swore to crush Tyson, to humiliate him, to prove that Iron Mike was nothing more than hype. He shouted, he threatened, he made promises that he would break Tyson in half. But Tyson never wasted time with words. His fists always spoke louder. From the opening bell, Tyson launched himself at Green, hammering his body and snapping his head back with savage hooks. Round after round, he carved up the loudmouth, leaving Green's face swollen and his energy drained. Green tried to fight back, swinging wildly. But his stamina betrayed him, and his power faded under Tyson's relentless assault. When the final bell rang, Tyson was the clear victor, leaving Green beaten, embarrassed, and begging for a rematch he would never get. But Green's arrogance didn't die in the ring. 2 years later, in a New York street, he confronted Tyson again, trying to force a fight outside the ropes. Tyson, ungloved and unrestrained, delivered a single punch that shattered Green's face, sending him to the hospital. The unofficial rematch lasted 1 second, and once again proved that, even off the canvas, Tyson's power was unmatched. What tied all of these giants together was not just their size, but their belief that Tyson's fury could be contained. They believed their height, their reach, or their arrogance would protect them. But what they learned painfully and brutally is that Tyson was not just a man. In his prime, he was inevitability itself. He was speed wrapped in power, aggression fused with precision, a fighter who didn't just hit opponents but devoured their confidence, their will, and their dignity. Time and again, these towering figures fell. Some crumbled in seconds, like Spinks. Others lasted rounds but were eventually dismantled, like Tucker, Jameson, Biggs. Mitch Green became a cautionary tale, a reminder that even outside the ring, Tyson's wrath was not something to test. Each fight reinforced the same story. The bigger they came, the harder they fell. And Tyson relished every collapse. As the 1980s rolled on, Tyson's legend only grew. The roar of the crowd, the thud of his gloves smashing into ribs and jaws, the sight of giants tumbling down like felled trees, these became the hallmarks of his reign. He didn't just win fights, he created spectacles. Moments burned into boxing history. Every time a giant stepped into the ring, the audience knew how it would end. Tyson's presence alone was enough to make even the bravest men hesitate. To make the tallest towers tremble, Iron Mike's legacy is not just about titles or knockouts. It is about the fear he instilled, the arrogance he crushed, and the reminder that in boxing, size means nothing if the heart behind it isn't stronger than the storm in front of it. Tyson was the storm, and those who mocked it were swept away. Giants fell, reputations shattered, and history was written in blood, sweat, and the unyielding fury of a man who refused to be underestimated. When the dust settled, and the echoes of those fights still rang in the ears of fans, one truth remained unshakable. Iron Mike Tyson was more than a champion. He was a reminder that no matter how tall the giant, no matter how cocky the challenger, the king of boxing always had the final word. And it came in the form of fists that carried the weight of destiny.